Many men are dedicating a lot of time to studying the red flags in women. And this makes a lot of sense because if you don't know what these things are, they can certainly come around to bite you in the butt later on down the line when you are in a relationship with a girl. Okay, especially nowadays when people talk about modern dating and the relationship landscape out there. If you don't know some of these things, you can seriously get yourself into a lot of pain and suffering later on down the line, like I said. But one of the things that is really not talked about too much are the green flags. What are some things that you should actually look for? Because in the 6 years that I've been coaching men, most guys don't really know what they should be looking for. They can pretty readily recite to me things that are dangerous or the red flags. But when I say, well, what is it that you're looking for instead? The conversation gets really quiet really fast. You know, a lot of the times some of the answers are just like, oh, she's pretty, she's nice, she's loyal. Okay, great. But what does that actually look like in form? How do you know if a girl has those things or not? So today I'm going to walk you through just a couple of green flags that I want you to be aware of. So when you're out there interacting with women, maybe you're dating, or maybe you currently have a girlfriend, you can actually line these up to whoever it is that you're interacting with and see, does she kind of fall in line with some of these things? Because if she does, then chances are you've got a really great girl on your hands. Okay, so I'm going to give you these green flags in the guise of one of my clients who came to me because he had thought that he kind of messed things up with his current girlfriend, but he really didn't. He just wanted to make sure with me, did I do this right? Did I mess things up? A little bit of a flub up. So he wanted to run it by me. So I'm going to give you guys that summary of his situation and then walk you through the things that I pointed out to him about why his girlfriend is actually really awesome and the different green flags that she has. Okay? So the long story short of this is that he was having a family birthday party for his sister, and he wasn't going to call her over because recently they've been doing so many different family events together. He's like, you know what? Let me just give her a break. It's not that big of a deal. I don't want to make her feel obligated to come over. But later on in the day, just before the dinner, for some reason, he had a change of heart. So he threw out a line to her and asked if she'd be interested in coming over. Okay, and this was about 4:30 p.m., which that's pretty late in the day for a dinner, for a birthday dinner. So obviously she couldn't come and was a little bit upset about it. So let me just read to you the interaction so you can get context for what I'm about to share with you about this girl's green flags. Okay, so he says, "Hey, we're having dinner for my sister's birthday today. Would you want to come over for it? Don't feel obligated to come. I know you had a long weekend and you work tomorrow." And then she responds, "How come you didn't ask me that yesterday or earlier? I would have loved to have gone, but I just picked up dinner with my dad and I don't have a card or anything and I just can't go." And he goes, "Yeah, I know. I apologize for the late notice. I didn't know we were doing anything today for it until later today." She goes, "Oh, it's okay. I'm sad I'm missing it. And of course, I would have loved to have seen you again too. Tell her I said happy birthday." And then he said, "You're so sweet. I will do." And then he goes into something about his family, and he says, "Well, we'll have to get together during the week to make up for it." Okay. And she said, "Yeah, I was going to ask if you wanted to come over maybe Tuesday night, if that works." And then he wraps it up by saying, "Yeah, Tuesday is perfect. I'll come by after work." Okay, so you get the general gist of it. So the reason why he was worried was because, again, she expressed disappointment to him about not being invited to the birthday party because she obviously would have loved to have gone. But he thought he was kind of, he was kind of looking out for her and just didn't want her to feel obligated to come to another family function. Okay, so he wanted to check in with me, and this is the response that I gave him. Okay, so this is where I'm going to get into now the green flags about this girl, and maybe some of you picked up on them. Did you guys pick up on any of the green flags that she was giving off in that exchange? Did you see them? Did they register with you, or did it just kind of? Are you not sure how to decipher that? Well, good news for you. I'm going to decipher them right now. Okay, so here's what I said. Okay. I gave him a couple tips about how he could message her, but I said, on another note, I want to acknowledge her and her response here, because there are so many green flags going on. Okay, I really like the way she expressed her disappointment, okay, but also shared how she would have loved to have gone. So what do I mean by that? When she shared her disappointment, she said, how come you didn't ask me earlier, or how come you didn't ask me yesterday or earlier? I would have loved to have gone. Okay. That kind of a response from a woman is absolutely golden, because she was clear with expressing her feelings. She didn't say, oh, it's no big deal. Because a lot of women, all of a sudden, if that happens, get very passive aggressive. Maybe you've run into women like this. Maybe you're seeing one yourself right now. But instead, she was just very true and sincere with her feelings. Like, oh, I would have loved to have gone. Like, there's a feeling of disappointment there. She's just getting it out there. But she does not hold it over his head, which is what I said to him. Excuse me while I find my place. Okay, I said, she isn't passive aggressive or vindictive about it. And I like how true she is to her feelings by saying she would have loved to have gone, as well as connecting it back to you by saying she would have loved to have seen you. Okay, so again, she said she would have loved to have gone to the birthday party for his family, but she backed it up by saying, hey, I would have loved to have seen you as well. Or that's the main gist of it, is like, I would have loved to have seen you regardless. So again, this is a girl. Now, he's really laid the foundation. I've been working with him for a while. And so he laid a really strong foundation with this girl. They've been seeing each other for about 6 months now. But and they started dating exclusively probably after a month after he met her, because he followed so to the T my guidelines of how to interact with women and how to lead them from the very beginning. But he's laid a very strong foundation. So she's very feminine. She follows his lead. So the way she communicates is great. And part of it is his leadership. Another part of it is her temperament. She's this type of a girl, which is what I helped him see, so he could find a girl, again, looking for these green flags. Okay. So she's clear. She brings it back to him and wanting to connect with him. And this is this very, very sweet attitude. And I absolutely love that. I said, this is powerful and important stuff to notice about a woman's behavior, and it's all very, very good. She was also very kind in wishing your sister a happy birthday. Okay, so again, she's not being passive aggressive. She's not saying, oh, I'm fine, whatever, no big deal. She's not doing that and being cold shoulder. She's expressing, hey, I would have loved to have gone, but I'd love to have seen you. Please wish her a happy birthday for me. Okay, this is sweet, genuine, authentic, kind, loving behavior from a woman. This is a big green flag. Okay, and then I went on to say to him, now that behavior, this is essential why we as men must reward our girl if they behave like this. And the reason why is because we want more of this. Feminine energy, women, they grow through praise and encouragement. The more we praise them for the things that we like, the more they'll want to do those things for us. Women really thrive when they know that they please their man, whether it be how they look, how they behave. And this is why we as men, when you're leading a relationship, be sure to reward her through praise or affection, touching, whatever it happens to be, which is exactly what I said with him, and which I'll share with you in just a moment. I said, and I did tell him, hey, man, I liked how you said that she was very sweet for wishing your sister a birthday. And I said, that is a very nice little acknowledgement to her and a reward for her. And so I said, this week when you see her, build on that reward by giving her a nice embrace, giving her a nice kiss when you greet her. You don't have to go over the top with it, because I told him, you're not making up for a wrongdoing that you did. I told him, you didn't do anything wrong. Don't feel like you have to overly do it and over apologize, but you're just reinforcing her good behavior. It's not to get yourself as a man off the hook. It's to reinforce her good behavior. Okay. So these are the 2 green flags I just thought was fantastic with this particular girl. She can express her feelings directly, honestly, but not hold it over his head. And she didn't, and so she just let it go and said, hey, I'd love to see you. And she said, yeah, how about Tuesday? And then boom, they got straight to it so they could get together that week. And she was just, again, so sweet. I know I've said this a million times that she's so sweet, but I honestly, this is the kind of woman that we as men need to reward and cultivate when you meet them out there. If a girl's good to you, reward that behavior. Don't overlook it. Don't ignore it. Don't kind of take it for granted. Okay, because let's just be honest, a lot of you guys out there, not knowingly, hopefully, you've done this in the past where you just didn't acknowledge a chick's good behavior. And they kind of felt, eh. But if you want to, again, build a type of relationship that's strong, where you have her feminine, you're the leader, that she willingly follows you, then this is the type of things that you do need to do. And this is what it means to be a leader as a man. And it's not hard, but you just have to do it, okay? So, to wrap this up, those are the things to pay attention to with a girl if you're going out with and she's doing these things. There's a few of these things. Obviously, there's many more. This is just a simple example to look at. These are the green flags to look out for with a particular girl. Now, I want to just quickly address before we wrap up this video. I told him don't be apologizing because, like I said, at the end of the day, he didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing to say sorry or be like show up with flowers on our doorstep and like, oh, I'm so sorry I didn't invite you. That's stupid. That makes you look weak, and it makes a bigger deal out of something that was small. It's a man's job to take a big deal and make it smaller. You don't want to take a small little thing and make it bigger, right? By going over the top with it, showing up with flowers and a teddy bear to apologize for something that really was a nothing burger, right? So don't do that. And he did a great job with that. Okay, so that's the first thing. And then the second thing was that, a lot of men, they always put themselves in the lower position. Like they self-deprecate, like saying, oh, I'm so stupid. I'm an idiot. I should have invited you. I'm so sorry. And they think that by shrinking themselves down, by like saying how stupid they are and how an idiot and like she's the leader or she was in the right, I was in the wrong. What you're doing here is you're shifting the dynamic. Now you're making her the leader. You're making her masculine. She's not going to want to be in that position. She wants you to lead. And this is exactly what he did. He's like, hey, let's make up for it and get together later this week. Just leading right on to the next thing. We're not dwelling on this little issue because it really is nothing. We're moving on. We're leading. So keep that in mind too, is that you don't want to make a huge deal out of these things. That's really nothing. If you're not making a big deal out of it, she will not make a big deal out of it either. So it's your job to lead that so things are smooth sailing. And you do this from the very beginning. You do it long enough, she's going to be easy as pie, just like this girl is. So, again, I'm very happy for my client. And, I know there's a ton of, we look at red flags all day, but this is a great example. This is a great girl who's sweet. She's kind. She's just feminine, and she treats him as the leader. She looks up to him, and he's doing a great job of leading. So, if you're a guy out there who's like, you know what, God, that I've had this issue in the past where I've maybe over apologized, or I didn't know how to shrink or I took something small, made it of a bigger deal than it needed to be, or I was self-deprecating and making myself look like a jackass when I probably shouldn't have done that. And you're like, you know what, I could use some help. I could use some coaching on this. Click the link down below. That's a link to my calendar where you can book a free consultation call with me where I can hear more about you, what you're struggling with, what's been holding you back. And if it seems like it's a good fit for the two of us to work together, then I'll walk you through how my coaching program works and we can get you started right away. All right? That'll do it for today's video. I will see you all in the next one.